Felicia and I like scary movies, and today we're talking about Nightmare Cinema, the horror anthology which is sort of the brainchild, love child of Beucase. Come and get me! This anthology has 5 short films in it, all directed by different renowned horror directors. And all of these short films are sort of stringed together with this side story of all these people coming to this movie theater. They walk up, they see their name and lights, they walk inside, they sit down, and they watch a horror movie about themselves. And so that happens 5 times with 5 different characters. The ringleader of this thing is the projectionist, played by Mickey Rourke. He's in some of this movie. He doesn't come in until like the 3rd story, which is like kind of weird, but I'm sure they only had him for one day. And in general, that's sort of my first complaint. The whole Mickey Rourke thing, I'm just like, I feel like you probably spent a lot of money on that versus like money could have been spent other ways. But if it gets more people to watch the movie, I get it. Now, let's talk through the short films. The first one is called The Thing in the Woods, directed by Alejandro Beucase. This short film is his first English language film. He's also known for Juan of the Dead. This one sort of plays out like the 3rd act of a slasher film. The girl we're following is playing sort of the final girl for most of the short. The killer is a masked welder of sorts that has a couple of different murder weapons. This one is supposed to be a horror comedy, and not to be brutal here, but I have sort of a pet peeve with horror comedies if it's just a horror movie with really bad acting and calling it a horror comedy, and that's sort of what this feels like. The acting is so over the top that it feels like everyone's in on the joke, and I think horror comedies work much better when everyone is, you know, playing it straight, playing it real. There was a pretty good twist in this one, and I liked where the plot went, and I also thought the special effects were pretty impressive. There's a lot of CGI in this one, but it's pretty fun. The second one is called Mirar, and it's by Joe Dante, who of course you'll know from Gremlins and The Howling, etc., etc. Horror dude. This one follows a girl that has a scar on her face, and her fiance convinces her to get plastic surgery to fix it. He says it's for her own self-esteem, and excuse me while I let my eyes roll all the way into the back of my head to say bullshit. So yeah, she goes to a plastic surgery and a lot of scary stuff happens. I'll say this is the scariest concept for me because the doctor hospital stuff always really freaks me out. They're back to American Horror Story season 2, I think, with the insane asylum and the doctor, and I really didn't like it. I mean, I loved it, but I was scared. Overall, I like the story and the acting a bit better in this one, but the special effects looked pretty bad, I'll say. Like, a lot of the facial stuff looked like just kind of masks. Not great. The next one is My Sheet, which also sounds like my shit, but I'm also definitely pronouncing it wrong. And this one is by Raihei Kitamura. I don't know a lot of his work, but he did direct Midnight Meat Train. And this is the one that I thought was gonna be my favorite when it started because it's an exorcism tale, and I love an exorcism tale. The moviegoer in this one, or the one that's like watching his own nightmare, is a priest. He comes in, he sits down, he watches it, and it turns out he's a priest for this Catholic school, and there's a demonic force that is going around doing bad stuff. I think this one had pretty good imagery, but I felt like it was weak in terms of storytelling. It got a little like messy. I just feel like if they had simplified the story for this short film, it could have been more effective, but there is a pretty epic battle scene that I appreciated. The next one is This Way to Egress by David Slade, who is the director of Hard Candy and, lest we forget, Twilight Eclipse. And just so you guys know, I did read Twilight in middle school, and I did watch the movies in high school, and I have no shame. This one's about a woman waiting at the doctor's office with her 2 sons. She has some delusions that involve a secretary, that involve the walls and everything, and honestly, it's kind of really cool. This one definitely has the best acting in it. It stars Elizabeth Reeser, who is from The Haunting of Hill House, and of course Twilight. This one was definitely the creepiest feeling one that I would say maybe I enjoyed the most. It really felt like a Twilight Zone episode, probably because it was in black and white, but anyways, I liked it. And last but not least, Dead, directed by Mick Garris himself. This one I think had the most interesting script. It was about a boy whose parents were both shot and killed, and he is the one to survive, but he did die for some amount of minutes, and so now he can have sort of a different view into the other side, if you will. This is a cool story with overall good directing and good actors, and I liked it. It's definitely a tie between this and the last one for best of the anthology, but this is pretty good. And I feel like I'm not gonna do the ratings for this, sorry, because it feels a little weird to rate an overall anthology with one rating system, so I'm not gonna rate it, but if you wanna see it, it's on Amazon, you can rent it or buy it. It's also gonna be coming to Shudder probably in the fall-ish. Shudder was also a producer on Nightmare Cinema, but that's it, y'all. Let me know if you've seen it down below, and I will see you in the next one. Have a nice scream. Bye.